Country, I'm John Ramsey. Hope you had a fantastic weekend, and welcome into the Monday edition of Wave 3 Listens Live. We had a conversation going on Friday with elder advisors and Larry Weiss specifically, and we talked about all the different kind of challenges that you could have transitioning into a senior facility. Don't go broke in a nursing home, and that's what we're going to talk about today. With me now is Larry Weiss. Once again, Larry, welcome back to the show.
Magnificent Monday.
It is Magnificent Monday. It was Feel Good Friday, now it's
Magnificent Monday.
I like that title.
Thank you.
Can I steal that?
You can have it. This is part of my infotainment quotient.
Okay.
Yeah. And listen, on behalf of Wave 3, I want to really thank guest John Ramsey for coming on my show today.
Well,
I really
appreciate that. Thank you, Larry.
I'm a lover, John.
I know. You share. The gentleman to his right is Steve Langdon, who you went on and on about Steve Langdon.
He's a great guy.
And his ability as an attorney and what he has added to elder advisors.
Right.
So, first of all, welcome, Steve.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the relationship between you and elder advisors, Steve. Exactly what do you do, and when is your expertise called for?
Sure. Well, whenever you have an individual who's either dealing with a nursing home situation or just, progressing in life, and you need to prepare for that period of time in your life when you may be moving on and you want to make sure your kids or your family members or your friends are taken care of. There's always a financial component to that, but there's also that legal component. You have to have the legal documents set up. You got to have the right legal documents set up. So if you're doing some pre-planning, you may be looking at trusts that you need to prepare. If you're looking at a crisis plan, you've got mom or dad who are now transitioning into a nursing home. There are a number of other issues that have to be addressed with that. So like I said, it's two components. There's the financial side and there's the legal side of it. And I'm very, very blessed to have a chance to work with elder advisors because, frankly, they make my job so much easier, and they're able to help my clients really move this process along.
Larry, when did you hit a point in your business when you realized, look, we've got, financial folks that we work with, we've got estate planners, you've got all these different aspects, and when did you realize I need someone like Steve, the legal side?
Tammy, what? Maintain eye contact with John Ramsey. Oh, okay, thank you. Sorry, a little stage there. Tammy, left ear, okay. So I've been doing this 23 years, and I always like to tell people, I'm living, I'm not existing, I'm truly blessed, I love what I do, and oftentimes I would work with families that had met with attorneys to set up trust, and I think we're going to talk about that a little bit in the second segment today, because then you can avoid problems. But what happened about 2010 was 10 years prior to that, when mom and dad were 74 and I was 44, whatever the case may be, they might have had the attorney set up a trust to avoid probate. Well, 10 years later, they're 84, they're in the nursing home, their kids are 64, now I'm 54, and the kids started reaching out, so I kind of fell into this concept of just building on estate planning to also show families how they can protect their assets. And I've now been doing that since the summer of 2010. And as I say time and time again, it takes a financial component, certainly with a legal component, if the family's truly going to take full benefit of what the attorney calls special exceptions. And Steve understands that. And he's not part of the problem, because often there are problems when you're trying to help families use financial concepts.
You did something on Friday, which I love, and I'm going to ask you guys to do here in a
That was Feel Good Friday.
That was Feel Good Friday, but you gave some personal instances and individuals who went through certain challenges, because I think everyone's experience is different. For you, what kind of dilemmas do you see often, Steve, when there's a senior or a family getting ready to actually transition into a senior home? What kind of dilemmas do you see or talk about?
Well, I tell you, if you're dealing with the children, maybe dad's already passed and now mom is transitioning to that senior care. And they're dealing with the children, and the children have to collect so many documents to be able to get benefits to help pay for this process, right? Marriage licenses, or maybe it's a veteran's benefit, and they're trying to find discharge papers for dad. It's so difficult for these children who have lives of their own. They're working, they're raising their kids, to be able to do that. And so for me, when I'm able to turn over to elder advisors and Mr. Weiss and his staff to be able to help that family kitchen table, go to their homes, help them collect all these documents, it just makes a world of difference for the families.
So that's a lot of it, isn't it, Larry? It's not just saving financially and having questions, legal or financial questions that you can answer, but it's expediting the process.
It is, and it's kind of like what Fancy Fulton said on Friday. It's really just holding people's hands, because that's what's really lacking, because there's certainly a financial concept where we're going to protect assets, but it's also just giving the family peace of mind to know that someone's there I can reach out to. Everybody has my cell numbers, because that's what's so overwhelming for families, is because otherwise, when they're not engaging elder advisors and McNeely-Stephenson law firm, Steve Langdon, Tammy, is that shameless plug? Just a plug, okay. That, you know, other times the families are left drowning. So Steve has a great paralegal, Dana Bergen, that helps with that with the state, but it all begins at the kitchen table, and that's why I'm really delighted that on the second segment today we're going to have Jennifer Grooms from West Banco, because a lot of times people just need help with banking. Oh. Who would think that's such a problem, but it often is, and Jennifer's been really great helping our clients, much like I continue to you know, have the drumbeat of I want to be the dumbest person in the room. I surround myself with top talent. Absolutely. Steve at McNeely-Stephenson Law Firm, Jennifer Grooms at West Banco, Fancy Fulton at Remax. And I did tell Jeff Hurst I'll probably let him come on the show in September. He was quite devastated. So I think we're going to make amends for Jeff in September. And Rod from us in the CPA accounting and a whole litany of other professionals, because you need a team approach to protect the assets correctly.
All right, I'm going to ask a question I think everyone's probably wondering is, so how can someone like Steve help a family save money? What legalities are involved? Maybe you can address this, Steve, sure, that perhaps they're not aware of. Maybe it's changes in the law. I know a lot of this is educational, sitting down with the family and educating them about the process, but how can you possibly save a family money?
Well, sure. I mean, so the law is set up in such a way that, you know, if we've got a married couple that are coming to me and, you know, mom or dad is now in the facility, but the other spouse is at home, we can generally save almost all that they have. Okay, we're not really going to lose much there at all. If it's a single person, we can't save it all, but we can generally save about half or maybe a little bit more than that, so that they can pass on what they've earned over a lifetime to their kids, their family members, whoever they want to leave behind. I always consider it kind of like paying your taxes. You know, when you pay your taxes, you're going to take every deduction that you can possibly take. Sure. Well, the Social Security statute is set up the same way. You have all these different exceptions. You just have to take advantage of them. And so if mom or dad or the kids show up at the downtown at the Medicaid office and they go in and they talk to a caseworker, well, that caseworker is not going to talk to them about that. No. That's where I come in. And frankly, that's where elder advisors come in. We can work together to make sure that these folks are taking advantage of every exception that they possibly can to save as much money as they can.
I like your approach about, you know, surrounding yourself with smart people.
Absolutely.
But that's smart in itself. You say, I want to be the dumbest guy in the room, but that's smart, delegating to capable Absolutely. People and professionals.
Right.
So what are we going to talk about with Jennifer in the next segment? Tell us.
What, Tammy? Oh, Tammy said it's time for a shameless plug. Okay, Tammy. We are having a workshop tonight. Thank you for asking. At the 4 Points by Sheraton on Creighton Drive at 6 o'clock.
There's the information. Look at that. We were ready for you.
Tammy. And, of course, tomorrow morning at the Hampton Inn in Clarksville on Broadway across from Outback Steakhouse. So we encourage people to come out and, of course, take advantage of the fact that Mr. Langdon is going to be there. There's a Q&A session. It runs about an hour and a half, and we have a great deal of success with that. And a lot of that is because it's showcased with Steve, because there's always a legal component. There has to be a legal component. We always want the legal component there, and that's why we're thrilled that Steve's our guest speaker tonight.
So folks have unique questions. You'll be there to answer.
I will be there to answer it. I tell you, you know, the nice thing about this and the opportunity to sit down with these folks, like in this setting, it's an opportunity to build a relationship. Because when you're going through these tough times, you don't want to just go out and find a person to help you through that process. You want to find a person that you have a relationship with, and that's what I look at this as. This is a time to build that relationship so that we can have a working partnership.
All right, we'll give you more information about those upcoming workshops. Want to remind you again, don't go broke in a nursing home. Elder advisors, whether it be estate planning, financial planning, legal planning with Steve, they take care of everything. It's turnkey. So coming up next, we're going to talk to Jennifer Grooms from West Banco. We'll find out more about that next on Wade 3 Listen Live.
Here is where creators come together to show their passion, to share ideas, to inspire each other and the world. Here you expect more right now. That's why when news breaks out there, we bring it here, here, and here. With accuracy you trust. Wave 3 News. Expect more right now.
Win a house, help a child. Hi, I'm Shannon Kogan, here to tell you about Norton Children's Hospital's raffle. You could win this home in Norton Commons or a 2018 2 Series BMW convertible from BMW of Louisville and $10,000 cash. This year, if you buy your ticket early, you have the chance to win these additional prizes during the monthly drawing. You could win it all. Tickets, just $100. Call 559-KIDS, visit homeandbmwraffle.com, our open houses, or these sponsors.
Welcome back to Wave 3 Listens Live. We are joined now by Jennifer Grooms, who is with West Banco. Jennifer, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be
All right.
here.
Before we'll delve into exactly what Jennifer does and what part of the team, what part of the team, Jennifer, and what she does, what her job is, and if you would please tell me about, much like you did with Steve, this relationship and why it was necessary.
Well, you know, actually, when you were saying that, something flashed back. The older I get, the wiser my father becomes. I'm very blessed. I spoke to my dad this morning, and he said, know one thing and do it well, and also if you can't do it, you better find people that can.
There we go.
Certainly with Steve Langdon, and also with Jennifer. I don't do the banking, but so much of the crisis planning is dependent on banking and generating relationships, because often part of the requirements that the state imposes that the attorney needs us to provide is with the bank. And I keep coming back to Fancy on Friday, which is just holding people's hands, because this is a very stressful time.
Sure.
And what I've seen in the past number of years, and Jennifer can allude to this far better than I can, is the mergers. The banks, the big banks eat the little banks and stuff like that. But Jennifer and West Banco have so far been a niche to still be there, and they really bring customer service to the table. And that's why I thought it was worth bringing Jennifer in, because it's a full team approach. Sometimes it's just the minutia of banking. But you would be surprised with how many banks out there that aren't very accommodating for customer service. Have people say, well, XYZ Bank, I get along great with XYZ Bank. I said, have you done anything but deposit a check or cash a check? No. I said, you have no idea what you're talking about.
That's true.
Unless you really have, rubber hits the road with things, and that's where Jennifer and West Bank has done a great job helping our clients.
This team concept, Jennifer, let's talk more about that, because talking to Steve and now bringing you aboard here, I see where you know, he's talking about the advantages of having you aboard and a bank aboard. Yeah. Well, for you, there's probably advantages for a client who comes in and has questions about estate planning or needs some legal advice as far as transitioning to a nursing home. So it is a team concept, isn't it?
It is a team concept, and I've known Larry probably about 10 years or so, and I know that the whole process with his clients is very overwhelming for them in a number of facets, you know, just the mental, the emotional, the financial, everything. So I'm very glad that Larry feels comfortable with our professional relationship to bring those clients to us and let us help with the banking needs for them, because you know, we just want to help make everything as smooth as possible. And I've seen Larry in action with his clients. He does great with the hand holding and explaining to them, because I know it's very overwhelming. So I'm glad to be able to play a part in that.
So how does a bank play a part, Jennifer?
Well, they just, his clients have certain banking needs just that go on with this whole process, so we're just glad to be able to facilitate that, and Larry knows he can reach out to me, and we can take care of him and those clients.
Yeah. So Larry, you can reach out, Steve can reach out?
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of times we need to archive, go way back into history to get bank statements, stuff like that. Maybe suddenly the law firm discovered something, we need to kind of, you know, really dig deep on that. But that's the other great thing about my business model, which is I really don't have to micromanage. Obviously, I'm not an attorney. I give financial advice. Not here to give legal advice, give financial advice. So obviously, I never have to worry about Steve. He's got it covered. And on the banking, Jennifer knows what she needs to do. She's got it covered. I don't have to, you know, call and email and follow up. They know what they need to do, just like Fancy and Jeff at the RE/MAX Realtors need to do. They know what they need to do, and I don't have to waste time that I do not have holding people's hands.
See, this is what's interesting to me, and Steve, I want you to comment on this. So I would think there are times when, okay, you've done your part, and you go, this is all I can do, I need a bank to be involved. Or here comes Larry, and Larry says, I need really some legal advice. The fact that you have this relationship, again, it comes down to expediting things, correct?
Yeah, I can't tell you how important that is. You know, from my standpoint, if I'm dealing with a client and, hey, I need you to go to bank X, Y, and Z, well, I can send them there.
Yeah.
Who are they going to talk to? Right. What kind of answers are they going to get?
Yeah.
I know that specifically I can send them over here, and I know exactly where they're going, and they're going to have a kind ear to listen and to help. And that's so important.
Yeah, and you probably have times when I would think, Jennifer, when it's like, okay, the buck stops here literally, unless I get Larry involved or I get Steve involved. But you're saying, okay, as a team, we can advance this forward. And again, expediting and probably a lot less expensive and less time kind of, I don't know, quicksand.
Well,
you're moving.
You think every month that somebody's in a nursing home and they're not getting that financial help, they're running through $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 or more per month. If we can expedite that and get those benefits moving much quicker,
Yeah.
They're saving a lot of money.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I treat all these clients as if they were my family, my grandparents, and that's the problem when in the community someone engages someone to help them and they get that photocopied checklist they can barely read and they go to the bank, they're not even sure what they're even asking for. So half the time they'll go back home, deer in the headlights, watch Wave 3 Listens live at 12:30 because their day is shot now, okay? And because they're worn out, they're just completely drained going to the bank, arguing with someone that doesn't understand or has their own internal protocols, and so the family is devastated and they're worn out from it. That's why we hold their hand. That's why Jennifer will test that. We take the people to the bank and...
It's true.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
So what are the advantages of West Banco? I mean, obviously, Larry could have chosen any bank, but he chooses you, Jennifer, in the relationship there. Is it because you have an area of expertise when it comes to transitioning into nursing homes, or you know the legalities involved already with your relationship with Steve, or why do you think?
I think it's just, it comes down to people.
Yeah.
And, you know, the goal is to take care of the clients and to make the experience as simple for them and as easy, and let them know that we care. And we care. We care at West Banco, and you know, it's a mutual caring for the clients, and it's all about taking care of them and getting them what they need, and just giving them people that they can trust and feel confident working with, and giving them peace of mind.
Yes.
So I want to remind the folks at home who are watching now, if you have any questions, you can get these answered. Obviously, there's a short time frame here, but your workshops,
Yes.
there'll be some banking questions there as well, right? So tell them again what they're here and see at the workshops.
Well, thank you so much, because I know you ask because you care, because you're a lover.
I do care.
But we have our workshops tonight at 6 o'clock at the 4 Points by Sheraton on Crittenden Drive. 6 o'clock tonight. It's on the board, and at Show Talk. And then tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. at the Hampton Inn in Clarksville, across from Outback Steakhouse. So we encourage everybody to get there about 20 minutes early to get a good seat, find out where the restrooms are, get a bottle of water, and then we're going to hit the road exactly at 6 o'clock. Mr. Langdon takes the floor, and we go from there.
All right. Autumn Schneider is coming up next, and Autumn's going to talk more about the workshops, what will be discussed, kind of what the format is. We'll get more into that.
And also about, Autumn brought up a good point last month, which is there's things that Steve can do now on the legal front to avoid so much of this from happening, because what we're talking about here is crisis planning. Steve has the ability to do some pre-planning to avoid so much of this from happening. So we're going to try to talk a little bit about that. Steve's going to jump back in on the third segment and go over that as well.
All right. Elder Advisors, don't go broke in a nursing home. We'll be right back on Wave 3 Listens.
Win a house, help a child. Hi, I'm Shannon Kogan, here to tell you about Norton Children's Hospital's raffle. You could win this home in Norton Commons or a 2018 2 Series BMW convertible from BMW of Louisville and $10,000 cash. This year, if you buy your ticket early, you have the chance to win these additional prizes during the monthly drawing. You could win it all. Tickets, just $100. Call 559-KIDS, visit home and BMWRaffle.com, our open houses, or these sponsors.
Need lots of shoes for back to school? Check out Puma, Vans, and Adidas. Jump back to school in style with buy one, get one half off. Shoe Carnival, a surprise in store.
Nursing home bills run $7,000 to $9,000 a month. Don't go broke in a nursing home. Attend our next free workshop to learn how to protect your loved one's assets.
Our guest speaker will be elder law attorney Steve Langdon of McNeely-Stephenson Law Firm. Steve will show families how to protect their hard-earned dollars.
Let our team help ensure you don't go broke in a nursing home this upcoming Monday or Tuesday.
It's easy to register and absolutely free. Log on to elderadvisors.com or call 855-LARRY-55.
Don't go broke in a nursing home. We have the entire team here. Look how proud Larry is, because he has the team here from Elder Advisors. All right, we are joined now by Autumn Schneider. Autumn, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We're having fun. We're going to have a blast here. It's all good. Of course, you've met Steve. You've met Jennifer. Okay. Now, workshops. This is what we're getting into now. Obviously, with the short duration of the show, can't talk about everything. So tell me a little bit, or Autumn, you tell me, about the format of the workshops. Exactly what happens.
Well, they come in. Usually Larry starts it off, talks a little bit about, I guess you get started with some of the Medicaid and how we kind of crisis plan, and then it kind of leads into the trust, and Steve discusses a lot about that. I mean, really, you just got to kind of come in and see for yourself.
Well, I like what she said about crisis plan, because usually if someone's there at the workshop, they probably are going through somewhat of a challenge.
They are.
And sometimes it is a crisis.
Yes.
And that's when it's like, okay, we've got you covered. Right. Calm down. We're going to talk about anything you'd like to chat about. So when you open up one of these, what do? You just consider everyone there is for a specific reason. You want to make sure everyone's comfortable.
I kind of do.
You're good at that.
I'm also kind of old school. I kind of get show hands, classroom participation, ask if we can have a good time tonight. Most people go along with that. I kind of pick on zombies and people that live by train tracks, because those are probably the only two social groups that don't have their own caucus or their own, group, Me Too group or whatever. So I pick on zombies and people down by the train tracks for a little levity. It's called infotainment, John.
Gotcha.
Infotainment.
That's business, in the business, show business.
You can use it. Yeah. But the other thing is, I want to change gears, and this was Autumn's idea after the program last month, is Steve does a lot of pre-planning to help families avoid that. And Steve kind of uses a visual prop. This is one of his Red Trust books, and we use the treasure chest to demonstrate that it reaches out and protects the car, the cash. Can we zoom in on the props for a second, Tammy, please, right there? Okay. So we have the props for, the treasure chest. There you go, the treasure chest, the cash. This is his Red Trust book in the house and all that. So I'd really like Steve to just kind of paint with a wide brush what he brings to the table with this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what does the treasure chest mean there, Steve?
So as a former trial attorney, I can talk to people all day long. People like to see, right? I mean,
sure.
Television, people want to see it. They don't want to listen to it.
Helps you connect the dots. Yeah.
Absolutely. So we can open up the treasure chest and we can show the folks what are some of the things that we can protect. Do some pre-planning. Because I can't tell you how often I have folks that have gone through crisis planning with mom and dad, and then after the fact, they're going to come back to me, or maybe even come back to elder advisors and say, I'm never putting my children through that. Never going to happen. What can we do now to protect? Well, there are lots of things that can be done to protect your house, your automobile, your bank accounts, your investments. So much that can be done working within the rules to be able to preserve that. So if and when you ever have to go to the nursing home, those items are protected.
Now, I'm going to pretend I'm John Ramsey for a minute. Steve, now, a lot of our people are telling us that they have revocable living trust. Will that do anything to help from a nursing home issue?
It will do wonders for probate.
Thank you.
Wonders for probate. Does nothing for a nursing home. There are special exceptions when we're starting to deal with nursing homes. So there could be a veteran's benefit, perhaps, that we take advantage of. There's a certain thing called an asset trust that we could take advantage of. There are a number of things that can be done to help protect those assets. Better to do it sooner than later.
I would think, too, we can talk about saving money from the legal side, from the banking side, but also peace of mind is a lot of it, isn't it? Because I think it all sounds very overwhelming and confusing. So a lot of your job, I would think, Larry, is say, look, we've got you covered. Right. Just relax, right?
Right. Absolutely. And that's why, another shameless plug, there's like the top 790 reasons why and you can avoid going broke in a nursing home. So I put this book together. Denise and Tim Goldman and I put this book together, Don't Go Broke in a Nursing Home, because it talks about these things. It's general information. We're not giving legal advice. We're not attorneys. But what I tell people at the workshop tonight and tomorrow is I said, look, we want to get you in the ballpark. For people, because we offer a free consultation, and for the people that are coming back, usually in a couple of days for a follow-up meeting, I send them home with our book. I'm not here to sell the book, but I want them to have the information because it cites different areas that back this up, and it allows people to understand that, and then they carry this book everywhere with them. It's kind of their blueprint. So that's why we put the book together, because unfortunately, most people get their information on the internet, which may or may not be true, because it breaks down to what we call tribal custom, what the caseworker is going to allow. Right, Steve?
Right. What you see on the internet may be correct for New Jersey.
Right.
We don't live in New Jersey.
Right.
We got to know what's correct for Louisville, for Kentucky, and for Indiana. And while it's a federal law, and you would think that same rules would apply regardless of what state you're in, it really doesn't. I mean, you can get one county to enforce the law differently than the neighboring county. Over in Indiana, Clark could treat something differently than Floyd. Or even you can go down to the specific office and find that one person in one cubicle, one state worker, will treat the law differently than the cubicle next door. So it really is. You can look things up on the internet. It may get you partially the way there, but what you really need to do is just sit down and have a conversation with somebody who does this every day, all the time.
So if someone would like to attend a workshop, Autumn, what do you recommend? Do you make reservations, show up tonight? How does it work?
They can show up tonight. They can make reservations if they like. We will be at the 4 Points by Sheraton on Crittenden Drive. And also tomorrow at 10 a.m. We'll be at the Hampton in Clarksville on Broadway. And like I said, you can just show up if you like. It's not imperative that you call.
If you want to get a seat, you better get there early.
Yeah, it'll be jam-packed tonight.
Yeah.
It's like a Who concert, right? I mean,
For sure, baby. I'll spin that mic around. But I want to follow up on what Steve was talking about, because what's so crucial is you have to have the right attorney know what's going on. And Steve is he was a former prosecutor in Clark County. He's the county counsel attorney for Floyd County. Did I say that right?
That's right.
Okay, and he's licensed on both sides of the river. He knows where the federal courts are, because if you're going to try to take advantage of those exceptions that the attorney spoke of, if you're going to try to create a treasure chest, protect the house, the car, the cash, stuff like that, you better have an attorney that won't take no for an answer and will keep pushing the rock up the hill, because all too often the attorneys lay down and come up with ideas like just buy a bigger house.
Yeah, so often my job is to make sure the state actually follows the rules. And, you know, more often than not, that gets taken care of very early on in the process. But if I've got to take this to the local court or the federal court to make sure this is done, well, that's fine. That's what we'll do. Right. The rules are the rules. The state has to follow them.
And because I'm really thrilled to have Steve help our clients, because Steve was at a conference 6-8 months ago, and there was another local attorney that was bragging about
never had to file an appeal. Well, if you've never had to file an appeal, that means you're not taking advantage of all the rules that are available to you.
Right.
All right.
And Steve does.
So it's one thing to be nice and have a good relationship. Another is to have people who look out for your clients.
Absolutely.
Like you said, like family, like your grandparents. Jennifer, thank you for coming on.
Absolutely.
Larry, you're always fantastic and very entertaining.
Magnificent Monday.
Magnificent Monday. Autumn, you were fantastic as well. Steve really enjoyed the information. He did not oversell you. You delivered. Okay?
I appreciate that. Am I effervescent? Is that what I'm
Yeah, effervescent.
It is unchained effervescence.
So coming up here, get your pen handy here. We're going to talk more about the workshops, exact dates and times, and maybe upcoming workshops as well. We'll be right back on Wave 3 Listens.
Expect more from your phone. Get live alerts to breaking news the moment it happens. Download your app for breaking news. The Wave 3 News app, sponsored by UPS.
Every day, roughly 2,000 children go missing. It's a family's worst nightmare, and the first few hours are critical to recovery. Having all of your child's information in one easy place is the best way to be prepared. Good Neighbor Pharmacy is here to help.
Visit mygnp.com to find a location nearest you and pick up yours while supplies last.
Westmoreland Pharmacy, 1495 East 10th Street, Jeffersonville, 1945 State Street, New Albany, and 7600 Highway 60, Sellersburg.
If your loved one has been injured or is being abused or neglected in a nursing home, there is something you can do. Call the Nursing Home Injury Hotline at Hughes & Coleman.
You put in a little more effort for someone special, and so do we. Enjoy exceptional savings on Carrier systems. Turn to the experts you trust at Jarbo's Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling.
Go broke at a nursing home. Larry Weiss, invite everyone out tonight, and then tell us, please, if you would, upcoming workshops.
We want to see all of Kentuckiana that has a loved one in a nursing home or about to go to a nursing home or are concerned about avoiding probate, as Mr. Langdon addressed earlier, at our workshops. We have the 4 Points by Sheraton tonight on Crittenden Drive at 6 o'clock, and of course tomorrow at the Hampton Inn in Clarksville at 10 a.m. Bring an open mind, and I don't care what Bob and Buff said at the knife club. We can help.
They can help. Don't go broke in a nursing home. Jennifer, Larry, Autumn, Steve, thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow right here on Wave 3 Listens Live.